Ready? Okay. I'm sure everybody in here has been really sick before. If you guys haven't, consider yourself lucky. Today I'm going to talk to you about why I feel that mono is the worst sickness that kids our age are really susceptible to. The full name of this disease is called mononucleosis. It's a viral illness, and according to WebMD, 90% of people will get this by the time they're 35. So that means in the next 15 years, probably all but 2 of you will have it. And if you get it in later years, when you're an adult, it becomes much more serious. You'll probably have to go be hospitalized, and it'll just be worse off for you. It begins with flu-like symptoms: fever, bad headache, stomach ache, no energy. I started to feel these a couple weeks ago, so I haven't been in class lately. I started off with a bad headache, stomach ache, backache. My kidneys were hurting. I didn't know what was wrong. Went to the hospital, and they checked. I had all this blood work done, all these tests done. They were just concerned because I had really bad chest pain and it was hard to breathe. And I had troponin, which is proteins in the heart. And when you have too much troponin in your system, that could lead to a heart attack. Now, at the time, they were very concerned because they thought that was the case. But as it turns out, when I went back to the doctor for my visit again, he's like, I don't know what they were doing. All these signs are typical of mono. So why don't we test you for that? And I got tested, and it turns out I did get it. And I'm like, who the hell did I get this from? I don't know anybody with this sickness. None of my friends had told me that they had it. I didn't know where the hell I got it from. But then I started thinking, one of my best friends had been sick for like an entire month, and I never really went to the doctor because he's not from here, so he doesn't really have the advantages of like a real doctor out here. I mean, that he can just go to. So he kind of just pushed through it, and I didn't really think anything of it, but we were always together, sharing soda, like stuff like that. It was just, we didn't think anything of it. So I really think that I even talked to him about it. I'm like, I think you had it, and you just never went to the doctor, and you just got cured on your own. So that's the conclusion I came up with, at least. Now, when you have mono, you get severely inflamed tonsils. I felt like I had 2 golf balls in the back of my throat, and you get this infection that looks like white pus in the back of your throat. You can't swallow. It's so terrible. I couldn't even breathe, and it couldn't even eat. The only thing I was able to eat and drink was soup and hot tea for about 2 weeks straight. Your spleen becomes severely enlarged. It sits like right under your left pec in your rib cage. Now, what happens because it becomes so enlarged, it makes it so you can't exercise or work out or do any kind of physical activity, because if I were to get punched right here, right now, my spleen will literally explode, and I have to go to the hospital right away. So that means I can't, and I'm a football player. I am leaving for school in a couple weeks, so I can't work out, I can't do anything. I can't lift up a weight or do anything for probably like 2 or 3 more weeks, and it sucks. So, and you're just super tired and lethargic all the time. I was sleeping up to an excess of 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day. I would wake up, eat, go to sleep, wake up, watch TV, go back to sleep, and sleep for another 12 hours at night. I didn't have a social life. I still really don't. I still just stay home and play video games and go to sleep. It really takes about 3 weeks to start feeling better. This start of this week is like the first week I've actually been able to start feeling better. In terms of my throat isn't swollen anymore, my chest isn't hurting, and my stomach pains have gone away, but I'm still really tired, and all the time I still need to like take naps and stuff throughout the day. But if you try to exert yourself and you think you're better and you go out and do other stuff, all these symptoms can just as easily come back. So you have to be really careful about it. make sure you are at least off your feet for at least a month before you go back to any kind of physical activity, because I really don't want this to come back. And fatigue and lethargy can last for up to 2 months, so you can feel tired for even a month after everything is gone. Now, another thing that is incorporated with this is weight loss. Like I said, I was only able to eat and drink soup and tea for weeks, so I went from 315 pounds at a good weight, and now I'm 280 pounds. I lost almost 35 pounds in a little under a month, and that's, most people will say that's great, that's awesome, but not for me. I'm a football player. I want to be at 315 pounds now. I have to work twice as hard to get back to where I was. It's terrible. And so what mono is, it's caused by the Epstein-Barr virus. It's exchanged through saliva. So that means it can be exchanged through kissing, sharing drinks, close contact with peers, if you're coughing and sneezing, and in close quarters, like in a small room or something like that. So that's why mono is often referred to as the kissing disease. You need to be very careful around people that are starting to show these kind of symptoms, because most people don't even know they have it within the first week, and that's during that first week is the period when the likelihood of spreading this is at the most high, the most dangerous. So I just wanted to talk to you guys because I don't want anybody to end up like I was. You just got to know who's sick and stay away from them. Don't share drinks with anybody, and it's not fun. You guys really don't want to go through this. Thank you.
Omar, are you here? Not here. Okay, give me just a second. All right, Cody, the best thing that you've got going for the speech is your personal experience. It gives us something to relate to. You become a credible spokesperson for the point of view that you're talking about. You've got individual incidents and stories that you can pop into this that give us something that we can connect to. I think that's fine. You do need to do a little bit more development of the issue. I thought at the beginning you had a good statistic that suggested a lot of people are likely to get mono at some point in their life. I think that sure seems like it's a high percentage, but once you got started with that, I think you needed to keep up with that kind of information. Occasionally you have some factual data that gets put into the speech, for instance, the way it's spread, or some of the things about the effects, like what is it, triplon or whatever the thing is that was in the heart. I mean, you've got bits and pieces of information, but as a warning, for instance, if you want this to be a persuasive speech, you're trying to convince us that we ought to try and protect ourselves from this some way or avoid contact with people, I think you need to develop some more information about how it spread, the frequency with which it spread, the context in which people encounter it, develop this as a problem. I think what you need is a stronger organization of the material. You've got the narrative part that you want to use in the speech, but the story can't really organize all of the content for you. And so you need to kind of put your story in places in a structure that those parts of the story would work, but you've got to have a regular structure for the speech too, and I think that that's sort of missing. Your presentation, I thought that you had